Years ago, in a charming city called Pakot, there lived a young man named Ade. Ade was the epitome of success and good looks. He had everything a woman could dream of: handsome, well spoken, and successful. People admired him for his achievements, but they didn't know the struggles he had overcome to get to where he was. He was what everyone considered a big boy, having landed a high paying job with an oil company immediately after university. His salary was nothing short of impressive, and soon Ad became known for his lavish lifestyle. He built 3 houses, made wise investments, and lived a life that many people could only dream of. Ed was no longer just a man, he was a symbol of success. He knew he had everything: money, luxury, and comfort. But what he lacked was someone to share it with. That's when he decided it was time to settle down. He began looking for a wife, a partner who would stand by his side as he continued his journey. Aid had certain qualities in mind. She needed to be humble, homely, and good natured. And of course, she had to be beautiful. Asha had just graduated from university, and she was everything Aid had been searching for. She was kind, smart, and to top it off, she was beautiful. They hit it off right away, and it wasn't long before Aid asked Asha to marry him. The proposal was romantic and heartfelt. Asha was overjoyed, and they quickly began planning their future together. Within 3 months, they had a grand wedding. No expense was spared. They had everything: a beautiful ceremony, a luxurious reception, and a life ahead of them that promised to be filled with love and happiness. Ad and Asha were the perfect couple. They were a team. Everything seemed perfect. Although Ad had always been well dressed and appeared modern, he held on to old fashioned beliefs that shocked Asha. For example, Adi believed that women should stay at home and take care of the household, while men should provide financially for the family. He believed that a man's worth was tied to the number of sons he had, and that male children were more valuable than female children. Asha, on the other hand, was a woman of the 21st century. She had graduated from university with honors and had big dreams for her career. She wanted to contribute to the household, not just sit at home. But when she brought up the idea of getting a job, Ade refused. He insisted that he would provide for everything. Stay at home, take care of yourself and our future children, Ade told her. Asha, trying to understand, suggested, "But I'm educated. I can contribute and keep my mind active. Why not let me work and help with your connections?" Aid, however, was not open to the idea. He told her that as a man, he should provide, and that her place was at home. Asha was stunned by his rigidity, but not wanting to upset him, she reluctantly accepted his decision. However, Ade didn't stop there. He went ahead and gave Asha a monthly salary of 3 million naira to ensure she stayed home. Though she wasn't allowed to work outside, Ade's generous allowance meant she didn't need to worry about money. She was able to manage the household, take care of the house, and even save money from the monthly allowance. Soon, Asha had accumulated enough savings to make investments in land, stocks, and gold without her husband knowing. She was building her wealth quietly while fulfilling her role as a wife. Years went by, and the couple's life seemed perfect. They had 3 beautiful daughters, but soon Adi's desire for a male child became his sole obsession. Every conversation, every moment seemed to revolve around the idea of having a son to carry on his name. "Don't you see my friends with their sons? They're real men. A man without his son is nothing," he would say. pushing Asha to try again. Asha, although hurt, remained patient. She tried to explain that it wasn't up to her to decide the sex of a child. Despite this, Aid continued to pressure her, saying, "I need a son, Asha. My legacy must be carried on by a boy." Asha, feeling helpless, turned to prayer, hoping for a son to please her husband and keep their marriage intact. She researched methods for conceiving a male child and tried everything she could. She even altered her diet and lifestyle, all while praying fervently that her husband would stop threatening to bring in a second wife. Finally, after months of waiting, Asha found out she was pregnant again. This time, she was terrified. She didn't dare check the sex of the baby because she feared another disappointment. She began buying only boys' clothes and preparing for a son. The pressure was unbearable. Aid had become distant and cold during her pregnancy, his focus solely on whether or not she would deliver a boy. He ignored her emotional needs, and Asha felt increasingly isolated. Ad was furious. He refused to even look at the baby, storming out of the hospital in a fit of rage. He rejected his new daughter, refusing to name her and showing no affection. It was as though she didn't even exist to him. Asha was heartbroken, but she tried to stay strong for her daughters. Ed left the house shortly after, refusing to provide any support. His behavior worsened when he returned, this time with Sandra, a woman who had given birth to two sons for him. Sandra moved into the house, and Adi showered her with gifts and love. He ignored Asha completely, treating her as though she were invisible. She used the money she had saved and invested to take care of them. Although Aid had stopped providing for them, Asha made sure that her daughters were well taken care of. She was a resilient woman, and despite everything, she did her best to shield her daughters from the pain. Years passed, and Asha's daughters grew smarter and more talented, while Aid's sons lagged behind. They were spoiled and uneducated, failing to meet even the most basic expectations. Then, one day, Ad decided to test his wives to see who truly loved him. He pretended to lose his job and asked both Asha and Sandra for help. Sandra refused, but Asha immediately stepped up and gave him a check for 20 million naira. This act of kindness from Asha caught Ade off guard. He had been treating her poorly for years, but now he realized just how much she truly cared for him. He saw that Asha had always supported him, even when he had treated her like nothing. She had been there for him when he needed her most, while Sandra had only been interested in his wealth. He realized that the woman who truly loved him was Asha. Soon after, Adi returned to Asha and begged for her forgiveness. He admitted that he had been testing her loyalty, and he apologized for the pain he had caused. Asha, though heartbroken, forgave him. They decided to start fresh. Aid finally understood that a family isn't about the sex of the children, but about love, respect, and understanding. He saw his daughters not as a disappointment, but as his pride and joy. He even named his last daughter, something he had refused to do before. Asha and Aid rebuilt their marriage, this time based on mutual respect. Aid started to give Asha large sums of money to continue her investments, and she used that money wisely, growing their wealth. The family, once broken, was now whole again. They were a happy, loving family. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and hit that like button if you enjoyed the content.